Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Rashelle. If you're returning subby, hey on. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. So today we're not doing a full style tutorial. I'm kind of giving you guys some details on how I do my knotless. So I like to start off splitting my parting space into 3 even sections. I comb through and I make sure that it's perfectly, laid, no lumps and bumps. So like I told you on the other video, I do the double feed method. So I feed the first piece in on the left, the second piece in on the right, and the third piece in on the left, and that balances the size out. I explained in the last video that I've tried doing knotless other ways, feeding from the left, feeding from the right, but I like when it's balanced from the root. I feel like a knotless braid is supposed to look like a regular box braid, but the pieces are fed in instead of creating that knot at the root. So I feel like a knotless braid should be a uniform size from the root until it tapers down to the ends. So when it comes to my knotless, I like to keep it, a uniform size, and I also start tucking from the root of the braid as quickly as I can, so that by the time it's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches into the braid, the hair is already starting to be tucked to where you only see the client's natural hair at the root of the braid. Tucking may seem difficult when you're still learning how to do it, but once you do it often, it becomes second nature. And a tip that I always give people who want to get better at tucking is to tuck all of your braids. Even if the client is getting black braids, black braiding hair on black natural hair, still tuck it, because by the time you get to those clients who may be getting a color like what you see in this video, your skills have progressed. Because imagine the amount of clients you do with black hair and you're still getting that tucking experience. And also, tucking is longevity. Like, your clients' braids will last twice as long because you're tucking them. Imagine how many people take their braids out because the hair starts sticking out of the braid. But if your braids are lasting twice as longer because you're tucking, people are going to come back every time. That is something that people always come back for. If they know they can get a good set of braids that will last, they will be coming back to sit in your chair for sure. So what I'm doing here is extending the length of the braid. So this hair was about it came about I guess waist to hip length, and we wanted them a little bit longer. So I added, I don't know if you've seen the first piece, but I usually add about 2 pieces so that it balances each side of the braid out. So that was me adding my second piece just to add length to the braid. So I didn't think about it when I was doing it, about how I had a white chair. And with these white braids, they might be hard to see. So, but if you can't see it too well, it's okay, because the next few braids I do are going to be a blue color, so it's not going to clash with the back of the chair. And this is what the braid looks like completed. You don't see any black hair outside of that first inch of the braid, and this is what I absolutely love. Like, do you see it? Okay, so on to the next braid. Just like you've seen with the last one, I split the parting section into 3 even sections, and I make sure I comb it out so that it's smooth before I start adding my pieces in. So I add my first piece on the left, I add my second piece on the right, and then I add the last piece on the left. Now, usually I do not add any more extra pieces in unless my client has really dense hair. And I'll probably have to do a video on that so that you're able to see. Sometimes when a client has dense hair, it makes the top of the braid a little bit bulkier, so you might have to add a little bit more braiding hair to balance it. But what you see me doing here is pulling the hair a little bit so that it kind of pushes the hair back up to the root, just in case I lost my grip on the hair as I was braiding. And you want to, when you're tucking, literally place the natural hair behind the braiding hair. Like, you want to take the hair and force it behind the braiding hair, and you want to make sure you do that every time, so that when you get to the next round of your braid, so like, you know, when you're actually moving your pieces, you want to make sure it doesn't stick back out later. Because if you tuck it one time and then you don't tuck it the next time or on the next leg of the braiding hair, it's going to show through later on, and you'll actually see me work on a braid where I will have to go back and fix it, because there will be a little piece of natural hair sticking out of the braid. So right here is what I was talking about. You can see a little piece of the black hair sticking out, and as much as that wouldn't bother most people, it's gonna bother me, because when the whole style comes together and that one little piece of black hair is sticking out, it's gonna upset me. So all I had to do was unravel the braid a little bit, go back up, and literally move the natural hair to the back and place the braiding hair over it. It's not a lot of science to it. That's literally it. I will say though, because I feed in from both sides instead of one, I'm able to start tucking the braids easier. I've seen videos of braiders who might only feed in from the left or only feed in from the right, and they have more hair at the root, more of the client's natural hair at the root sticking out before they're able to start tucking. And I feel like when you feed in from both sides, you're placing more braiding hair on top of the natural hair faster, so you're able to start concealing that hair quicker. So maybe a little hard to see, but I'm showing how each piece is thinning out and how two of the legs is shorter than the other. And as it starts to taper down in size, that's where you want to start extending your pieces, because you don't want it to start to get too small to where when you add the hair in, you're able to see the hair getting bulkier. So as soon as you start to feel that you're getting towards the end of the braiding hair, you want to start feeding in your extended pieces. Okay, so now that we're getting to the next braid, I want to get to my next tip. So I honestly don't know the difference between underhand and overhand. Look, but I will say, after feeding the hair into each side, switching my hand position closer to the root helps me tuck better. Because if you still have your hand position the same way it was when you're feeding the hair in, it's hard to place that hair underneath the braiding hair. So switching my hand position quickly definitely helps with tucking the braid faster and closer to the root. And like I said before, when you get better at it, you will go faster. This is not my normal speed of tucking. I'm literally braiding slower for the purpose of the video, but I wanted to slow down how I do it because I wanted you guys to see exactly what it looks like when you're forcibly placing the braiding hair on top of the natural hair. That is the gist of tucking. That is pretty much it. And the more you do it, like I said before, the better and faster you'll get. Also, adding product is my next tip. It helps. Instead of keeping the hair, where it's like out in its, I'm doing quotations with my fingers, natural texture, if you use that product to smooth the hair out, it's almost like you're tucking less hair, but not really. It's easier to tuck a smaller piece of hair as opposed to hair that's just kind of like, you know, that you're just like wildly braiding. I hope I explained that good enough.
This what happened when I think about you. I get in my feelings, yeah. I start reminiscing, yeah. This time around, fuck, I want it to be different, yeah. Waiting on a sign, guess it's time for a different prayer. Lord, please favor for me.
So that is it for my tips for tucking knotless braids. So what happened with this camera view was we had started kind of late in the day, and I was also getting content for that I could use for Instagram and TikTok, and I forgot to put my camera back horizontally, and it was still vertical. So that's why you can see the black bars on the side. But at this point I was a little tired. It was nighttime and we had made it to the end. She was sleepy too. She had fell asleep by the time I got to the black braids. But this is the style, and this is the finishing touches that I always do. Mousse, holding spray. I go in with my blow dryer to dry the holding spray and to get rid of the leftover mousse, and then I go in with hairspray and oil, which is different depending on how my client's scalp is. But this is the finished look. I got a few videos of her just doing her thing. This is my brand ambassador. I love her to death. She is always down for my creative ideas, doing colorful braids, and yeah, I can always talk her into doing it when nobody else wants to do it. So love her. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, that means you were catching a vibe and you should subscribe. I might keep that one. Y'all might hear that one again. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like the video too, and comment what you guys want to see or what you want to learn. I've pretty much coined the phrase of Slaughter Saturdays. That's when I'll be posting more of my style videos, and during the week I'll be doing more like braider, business, boss type videos. So make sure y'all subscribe so y'all don't miss any of that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.